Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses here today. I'm interested in hearing how we can change the dominant PBM model to better help patients in New Jersey and across the country. Mr. Chancey, last year, a New York Times investigation highlighted the experience of a 77-year-old New Jersey man, Joseph Kaplan, had with America's opaque pharmacy benefit system. Mr. Kaplan explained a scenario where his preferred pharmacy was integrated with a PBM, Express Scripts. They told him they could receive a 3-month supply of his drug for $186. However, after his own research, Mr. Kaplan discovered that Costco, a non-preference pharmacy, could provide the 3-month prescription for $56. Mr. Kaplan concisely described the scenario. It's just nuts. First, can you explain to us how our current system allows for such a confusing scenario for patients?
Well, I think that is we have one of our pharmacies is located next to a CVS, and many times we will not be able to fill the medications at our pharmacy. We'll have to send them to another pharmacy. As long as the PBMs are going to continue to be in the game with us, it's going to be unfair. And I'll equate it to this: it's almost like Walmart telling Target who can do business with them and what prices they can charge. That's the environment that we're in right now. And everybody would say, well, that's ludicrous. Well, that's our world. That's where we're at. Until we make some changes there, we're going to continue to have these problems.
And so how is the reform measure that we're working to get through this committee and pass the Congress on a bipartisan basis help Medicare patients like Mr. Kaplan?
Well, with transparency, start with transparency and eliminating the spread pricing. The 3-axis advisor study talks about that the PBMs are paying themselves 35 times higher than they're paying independents for prescriptions. That's ridiculous. And that's on mail order. But they're paying themselves that much more than we're getting paid in the community. Even in the state level, from the bricks and mortar stores, sometimes they will get paid $50 to $100 more on a prescription than they're paying us. And that's just, we need a level playing field. We need a fair, equitable reimbursement model, and we need transparency, and we need to eliminate the spread pricing.
Okay. And are there any other further actions as we're looking at reforming this entire ecosystem that you would encourage Congress to look at to improve our current pharmacy benefit program for patients?
I think the legislation that Representative Barger talked about earlier would address a lot of the issues that we're talking about, and look forward to that getting more progress as well.
Thank you. I now want to discuss how many PBM's current rebate model incentivizes high list prices for drugs. In this model, many drug manufacturers offer high list prices so that they can provide a greater discount demanded by their PBM through a rebate. The manufacturer does this to get a better place on an insurance plan's formulary. This can also result in less favorable formulary placement for cheaper generic drugs or biosimilars, which is concerning since these products are some of the most time-tested tools to lower drug prices through competition. Dr. Fiedler, could you explain how PBM's current practices may limit the market penetration of these FDA-approved generic and biosimilar products, and how this lack of competition affects the drug prices faced by patients?
So I think it's reasonable to worry that PBMs sometimes favor highly rebated drugs over low-priced drugs, even when that's not in the payer's interest. And I think, biosimilar entry is one place where that could have consequences. I will say that I think where this is happening, the main issue is not necessarily always self-dealing by the PBMs, but frankly, it's the manufacturer who is insisting on some of these types of arrangements that can then put both the PBM and the payer in a difficult circumstance where they've got a lot of patients on the reference product, and moving those patients over is going to be very expensive. So I think this is a place where, frankly, there's a lot of blame to go around, and the PBM's incentives can be misaligned here, but ultimately the manufacturers are, working pretty hard to protect their market position as well, and they need to be part of the conversation as well.
Okay. Thank you. I yield back.